Hey everybody, it's Sugar Bar Philosopher. Welcome back out to the channel. Today we're going to be continuing our testing of 380 ACP self-defense rounds of ammunition. We're going to be looking at the Beretta Cheetah 80x, which has a little bit longer barrel, and two of my favorite rounds, which is the Fiocchi Defense Dynamics and the Federal Hydra Shok Deep. We've got a different testing regimen that we're going to look at today. Should be a good time. Let's get to shooting. Okay, today we're going to be taking a look at the Beretta Cheetah 80x, which has a little bit over a 3.75 inch or somewhere around there barrel length. And we're going to be taking a look at the 99 grain Federal Hydra Shok Deep and the 90 grain Fiocchi Defense Dynamics bullet. These in my other testing have been proven pretty well. My guns seem to run with them and they seem to expand pretty well in the gel. Today we're going to be adding some different testing regimens, and we'll take a look at that in here in just a second. But I think it's important to take a look and see how will it do with clothing, how will it do going through bone type structures. And then we're going to also test these for just a little bit more reliability and prove out the theory if they're a reliable gun, if this is a reliable gun or not. Should be a good time. Let's get to shooting. See how we do with the Federal Hydra Shok Deep. Let's go down and take a look. And I did not get a register on the Garmin. I'm trying. Okay, let's just take a quick look. So what we have here, again, as a reminder, we have our 2 inches of gel, which is different from our friend over at Gun Sam, who of course invented this whole thing. So we'll shout out to Gun Sam, shout out to Dan the Wolfman, who gave me the idea to borrow this test and change it up just a little bit so it's not redundant with Gun Sam's testing, but a tribute to him, and then also a verification of all the testing that he is doing over there on his channel. Again, I am not the originator of this setup. I should not get that credit. Gun Sam should get that credit, but I don't think that duplicating testing, which is commonly done in the scientific field, there's anything wrong with that, just as long as you give appropriate credit for it, because we are changing it up. He typically does a little bit more into the gel. I did the 2 inches. We're going to see if that 2 inches had much impact on the expansion of the bullet, and we can tell by the damage to the MDF down here that was very good. Just for comparison purposes, up here is the bullet from the Bodyguard 2.0, and over here was a Fiocchi round that didn't expand very much. So we got very good expansion going out, even with that 2 inches of gel. And then we got a lot of tumbling that occurred. That's not, and how repeatable is that tumbling? I don't know. I don't think that is consistent and something you can always count on. It's typically the wound track that you're going to get, which is going to be much smaller inside that tumbling. And then out here at the end, where it got out to about 13.5 inches, is very nice penetration. So we see that extra barrel length when compared to something like the Bodyguard 2.0. Sometimes the Bodyguard 2.0 will beat it because it has, I believe, to be a higher twist rate in it. I still have to get it out and measure it. But interesting, and where we see here the extra energy from the bullet allowed it to push a little bit deeper. I have not compared the sizes of those bullets, and I will do that once I get them out of the gel, but for you, that will be coming up pretty quick. But first, let's go on and test our Fiocchi bullet. The sun sucks for filming. This is going to be a tough one. I'm trying to put this bullet where the other shots aren't going to interfere. There's a lot of shots on there. I can't even really see my target. Let's hopefully we catch something on this with this bullet. We see the Fiocchi Defense Dynamics. I'm going to try to go a little bit lower. We'll see if that turns out. Let's go down and see what happened. Oh, dang. So I came up here and I thought, oh, that's not a bad shot. Just a little bit below the other one. Got great expansion. All of that. I forgot to put the MDF board back in. I'm going to flip this gel block and we'll reshoot it. 10-12. I don't even know what I'll show when I do this. I mean, I don't know if this is going in bloopers or what, but I have been having problems. Shot over the top, hit my frame. Then I shot one I thought was a great one. Look where I hit. Look, there's a path coming in here, a path coming in here. And all of this block, 2 bullets hit one another. Gosh, dang it, I'm going to have to shoot that stupid thing again. Let's try this stupid sucker one more time. Let's see. Okay, let's take a look at this. We had this 2 inches of penetration, and then we see we didn't get tons of expansion in that 2 inches. I'm not sure if you can see that. That's where the round went through, is right here. We didn't see tons of expansion through that. But what we did see, and this is the previous shot that hit the other bullet, that wasn't bad performance there. Not as good as the Federal Hydra Shok Deep, clearly, is expanding a lot more in that 2 inches. But what I believe we are seeing is very good expansion down all the way to the 11.5 inch mark after going through that MDF. And it looks to be that the bullet has pretty decent expansion, a fairly good wound track. Again, I think that's a very good bullet. Okay, well, this is the clown show that I was just part of. So what we have here is, this is our Hydra Shok Deep bullet. We got some pretty decent expansion, just a little bit more expansion than what we got with our Bodyguard 2.0 with this heavier velocity, but still not tons. And again, this Federal tries to balance not getting too much expansion so it can still get penetration. You do see the clothing is stuck in there in the hollow point. Perhaps that plugged it up and caused it not to get more expansion. But again, we got some decent peel back. Then we see the clown show of trigger bar as we proceed and keep going. So what we have here is, this is our one that I forgot to put the MDF in. It was a great shot into gel. So that's essentially a gel shot. We get pretty good expansion. Actually, it had clothing in it. So even though it had clothing in it, we got decent expansion. Unlike what I saw in the previous video with the Bodyguard, we didn't get enough expansion. And so it's right on that threshold. Now, something to remember with some of these things that I forgot to say in the Bodyguard video is that in this gel, this clear ballistic gel, you will typically see better expansion out of a projectile that in organic gelatin or in tissue than you would in this clear ballistics gel. Now, clothing will close it off in both rounds. Again, this had clothing in it when I pulled it back, but it still got very good expansion. This is our round. In our previous video and in this video, I talked about how I smacked it exactly right on. I don't think I could get 2 shots going in exactly the same spot in the gel. If I tried, actually, this is the second time this happened. It happened in a 5.7 by 28 test. And now in this, you'd say, hey, trigger bar, that's a great reason that you should buy more gel blocks so that this doesn't happen again. And then my response to you is, well, you buy more gel blocks and then we'll see what happens. Ha ha ha. So is what it is. We just have to keep trying. And if you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. And then this is finally the one that we got when we got the MDF and the clothing in the gel, and it got pretty decent expansion. Now, would these petals be a little bit more pushed back, or were they just in the process of pushing back? I mean, hey, look, the width of it is fantastic, but I don't know how repeatable that would be, that it'd be exactly that wide. I think this side is probably the more likely, and that's comparable to some of these other rounds. Again, I think this Fiocchi is a very good round, especially out of this Beretta. Okay, well, because I wasn't able to capture the Federal Hydra Shok Deep 99 grain, I'm just going to shoot 3 shots. We captured plenty of shots with the Fiocchi Defense Dynamics, and we have a whole video where we shoot even more shots with this. But so just for the purpose of completeness in this video, I'm going to capture a couple of rounds as we shoot them through our Garmin 901. This 99 grain projectile, 900. And I seem to be getting that all the time now on this stupid Beretta. I thought it did well with this projectile. And 908, so that's pretty good. A min of 900, a max of 908. That's probably around what it got when I shot it. Okay, I have several videos where I've done a bunch of chronographing. I have several videos, or radaring, whatever you want to call it, I also have videos where I've been shooting these for accuracy with this gun, with these bullets before. So today I just want to shoot because that's much more fun. I don't care if it's really as much fun for you or not. It's fun for me. But while we're doing that, we're going to be testing for reliability. Unfortunately, I only have one mag at a time. So we're going to shoot 13 rounds, which is what the capacity is for this magazine. And we're going to I have a variety of targets set up. You can't see it at this point. I'll show it in a minute. But we're going to start up close. We'll move back, try to get shots in, see how we do in practical accuracy, transitioning from target to target, and see most importantly, you can ignore trigger bars, lack of tacticoolery or exceptional fuddery, whatever you want to call it. Ignore all of that and focus on whether or not this gun works and is reliable. We did see that with the Fiocchi, it wasn't. We did have a malfunction. We're going to test that here in a second. Let's test this Federal Hydra Shok Deep in it with an imaginary up. We're going to pretend that the trigger bar had a holster and he got his shot up, and we'll go from there. Boop. Okay, we started off point shooting here, which we did pretty good with. Transition to this target, which we did less good with, and doing more point shooting. We definitely were point shooting on this. I wasn't even looking for the dot. We got pretty decent shots as we were backing up onto the target. I didn't even go for the spinners, and I completely missed this with the last 2 or 3 rounds when I was trying to root around for my dot, and that's one of the consequences of not practicing enough with this particular gun. We have this double action, single action Beretta loaded with some Federal Defense Dynamics ammunition that we've been testing today. I do have it in the safe position. So in other words, the hammer is down and the safety is all the way up, covering the red dot, which is important to remember. As I mentioned before, there is a false safety here in this gun that you think it's safe when the hammer is cocked, and it's not. Hammer has to be down for this thing to be safe. So I'm going to try and simulate a holster draw because I don't have one. I will leave it on the safe position. We'll do my mental beep, and we're going to shoot these targets in a random trigger bar order that is unpredictable even to me as we speak. I know the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot this target dead set in front of me, and we'll transition to a few of the others as we start moving back and get a little closer distance from this steel. Okay, so let's get going. Oh, malfunction. We did get a malfunction. Trigger bars training all went to crap. And it did fail to load the round because here is the round. So it didn't return to battery like what we saw in earlier testing. Yeah, I am a little bit concerned about... Freak, there's gunfire all over. It's like you're at a shooting range. I am a little concerned about this Beretta in terms of would I trust it for self-defense in my life. I don't think. There's a number of reasons why I probably wouldn't go with it. Number one, it's about the same size as 9mm. It has a little bit less, but close to the same. It's a heavy gun, 13 rounds. The reason I like it is I love the 92 platform, and it's just a fun gun to shoot, and it's kind of collectible. I like it. I like this style gun, right? So I like bringing it out to the range. Unfortunately, it runs pretty good when you're running FMJ, but it tends to suck a little bit when you're running hollow points. So that is definitely something that I would be cautious about. I have done a little bit of polishing on the feed ramps. Maybe I need to do a little bit more. I don't know. But it does seem to have issues with some FMJ or some hollow points. So what we saw was that it worked with the Federal, did not work with the Fiocchi. I think I've seen a couple of times when it doesn't work with the Federal, even in this video. So I don't know. You're going to have to be the judge on that, and you're going to have to test your pistol because your pistol may run just fine with it. Your pistol may have none of these issues. It may have different issues than it has with mine. Super important for everyone to get out and test their stuff. Okay, we see that our first shots coming off of the quote-unquote draw weren't bad at all. So we got those in the A zone. As we moved back, we transitioned to a little bit more point shooting. We reacquired our target a little bit more at distance, and we had some good shots on that. And I think I was trying, oh, I did. I definitely got at least one shot, center of mass on that one. Okay, right, let's just do a quick finish up. So today we were shooting the Beretta Cheetah 80x with the Federal Hydra Shok Deep 99 grain and the Fiocchi 90 grain jacketed hollow point. And we saw that we had a lot of problems with the gun. So I don't think either of these two bullets are great for my particular Beretta. I have heard from others who are reporting their Berettas have no such issues, and either of these would be great performers. We actually saw that we had a little bit better jacketed hollow point performance in the gel with that clothing and the MDF barriers than we did with the Bodyguard. Previous tests, we saw that the Bodyguard did just a little bit better, but I think that extra velocity was proving very effective when going through this more quote-unquote real-world type simulation of added to the gelatin. So, the takeaways you're going to have to take away, is this the right ammunition for you? Hopefully this data is useful to you in your search for a self-defense round for your 380 handgun. I think the Beretta is the same length or very similar length of other 380 ACP handguns out there on the market. So hopefully this provides you some interesting information. I hope everyone has a great week. Tell me what you guys think in the comments about these two rounds. What are you using for your concealed handgun, and which 380 ACP handgun are you using for your pocket carry? Hope everyone has a great week, and let's get to shooting.